overdrafts have always been incidental credit. And so it brings to the table the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. And the Equal Credit Opportunity Act is a fair lending regulation that says, all right, you cannot illegally discriminate. What's that mean to illegally discriminate? There are about 8 different things in Reg B: race, sex, religion, age, marital status, gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, Consumer Protection Act items, and public assistance. I don't know if I got them all there or not, but there's about 8 things, right, that you are not to consider when you are looking at any aspect of a credit transaction. Well, overdrafts are incidental credit. And so when you're evaluating overdrafts, when you're taking into consideration whether or not to pay or return an item, those 8 things can't be part of that consideration. Now, for most, that's probably not a big issue. But I'm going to give you a couple things to think about today. For many financial institutions that our review team has gone into in the past, hey, I have a review team. We've got three or four different banks that we're going into every couple weeks, and they're asking us to evaluate how they're doing things. And we find out what they know, what they don't know. We provide solutions. We help them get things going in the right direction. Well, one of the things we often look at is their overdraft programs. And we'll ask them, what's your roadmap for how you work overdrafts? It's still to this day shocking to me how many of them don't have a roadmap. Now, these are probably smaller, the ones that don't have a roadmap, smaller community banks. But there's still a lot of them out there that don't have a roadmap. And they're just the ad hoc bank. It's the daily decision that, I get my report in the morning, Amy gets her report in the morning, and she decides who she's going to pay and return, and I decide who I'm going to pay and return. And yeah, we're supposed to use the criteria of the relationship, but it's all real loose. Well, I don't know that it should be, and I don't think the examiners think it should be either. And here's why. I've seen it before. I've seen somebody work overdrafts on a bad day. They walked out the door in the morning and they spilt their coffee because they tripped over the dog, and then they got in the car and the heater or the air conditioner wouldn't work. Maybe they got rear-ended on the way to work. Somebody took their parking spot. All kinds of bad things can happen to make your day go sideways. And then you get this overdraft report that you're supposed to work, and it's like, return, right? Is that fair? And I'm way out there on that, right? Trying to have a little fun here today. But the point is, you should have a roadmap. You should have more strict criteria. Now, character certainly matters, and it's hard to gauge and put parameters on character, right? But there are certain things that you can look at. Average daily balance, okay? History in the account, things like that. It shouldn't just be how I feel that morning. If you've got people doing it that way, that's the wrong way to look at it. And it's a big deal, because I'm going to steer it back here to discrimination under Reg B, illegal discrimination. If we could ever tie it back to the big one would be gender, okay, or ethnicity, race, something like that. That's a problem. And it's not as hard as you think to connect some of those dots.